The most important thing to understand is when you apply for a medical insurance plan, if you have a pre-existing, it must be disclosed to the insurer. It's very important, because if you don't disclose it, then there's a likelihood that A, it won't be covered, and B, the policy may be cancelled. Pre-existing conditions are basically anything you've been treated for or taking medication for, or you have symptoms of, and could basically a reasonable person would know that there was a possible medical condition. When you complete the application for a medical insurance plan, you are required to disclose this information. There's a principle called utmost good faith, whereby you are required to give this material information to the insurer. Once the insurers receive that information, there are several options open. One is to possibly cover the condition with a loading. So in other words, the insurer agrees to cover the condition and all consequences thereof with an additional premium loading. The insurer could choose to exclude the condition. So in other words, the premium would not be affected, the plan would be as normal, except that any medical treatment associated with that pre-existing would not be covered. The other option is possible moratorium. So in other words, if you were to go, let's say 1-2 years, and there were no symptoms or medication required for the condition, then the insurer, after that waiting period, after that moratorium period, would then agree to cover the condition. Very often with pre-existing, after 1 or 2 or 3 years, you can go back and negotiate with the insurer to perhaps reduce the loading or agree to cover it if there was previously an exclusion. An awful lot of our time as brokers is spent advising clients which insurers may or may not cover pre-existings, and one of the most important jobs we do is to understand what pre-existing you have, and we can direct you to insurers who may cover that condition if that's important to you. Making sure your pre-existing conditions are covered if you want them to be is an extremely important part of selecting the right medical plan.